There we are. Look at this, folks. New shirt day. New shirt day. Right? So this is the Steve Tilford Foundation. Steve's really well-known bicyclist in the Kansas area. And talk about just a way to start the day, right? I get up, it's like 50 degrees outside. It's beautiful. It had been really hot and humid last couple of weeks in Kansas, and to get up and just have it be nice and cool, like it's sweatpants weather. It's long sleeve weather. And so I was like, let's break into this other pile in the closet. And as I was looking through some sweatshirts, I saw this shirt. It's a long sleeve tee. I got it, and it's such a great memory. And that's what I want to start today with is like what a way to start the day. What a way to start the day. You get up, you have a moment of peace, right? Whether it's your coffee, maybe a dip into a piece of scripture, whatever inspires you, it's great. And then you're like, okay, take a shower, start the day, right? So take a shower, I dip into the closet and I pull out the shirt and I'm like, oh, that's right. I've never worn it yet. I got this shirt volunteering at the NICA race in Kansas. My son and I, we went to Topeka. We were in a race. He was in a race. I'm one of the coaches. He's one of the racers. And when we got there, we have the camper van. And so when we got there, they said, hey, this isn't a camping venue, which we knew. But, you guys look like kind of official. Like, would you guys be willing to stay here overnight, basically camp here, even though it's a non-camping zone, and kind of watch the place? We don't expect you to be security, but at least you would be here and it would deter possible vandals, right? And we jumped at it because sure, why not? Because our other choice was we were going to go to a state park. I had reserved a campsite like 45 minutes away or 40 minutes away. And so instead of driving out 40 minutes and driving back 40 minutes and all that nonsense, we stayed overnight. We did the camping thing. We played security guard for the night. We met some crazy people too, because it's an open space. It's like a park, right? So it's the track was in a park. And so we met some folks, had some great conversations, camped. Our campsite became like the hub of for certain aspects, became like a hub where people would come and kind of hang out. And it was just fun, super fun. And at the end of the weekend, they gave us these Steve Tilford Foundation shirts, which when I pulled it out today, it was just a good memory. And I go back to like, isn't that a great way to start the day? Like yesterday, I started out the day with welcome to Outlook, and my email didn't work, which meant my calendar didn't work, which meant my appointments were all over the place, and that makes it really kind of an off day, just to be honest with you. Thank you to Microsoft. Now, one thing that's here is I jumped right on that, and I say here, do the work. I jumped right on that yesterday because it had to get done, right? But in the process of swapping from Microsoft Outlook to Thunderbird, so many positive things happened in that exchange. I was able to combine other email accounts and calendars that wouldn't combine in Outlook before. So now they combine in Thunderbird. Thunderbird's open source, so I'm not out of pocket for anything. I was able to get my calendars all consolidated. So in the grand scheme of things, it was a speed bump and it was aggravating. And Microsoft does this to me always at the worst possible time. Whenever I can avoid a Microsoft product, I do, because it's not consistent. I think it's one of those where it's so big, so ubiquitous that when they have a problem, that it's whatever, they don't care. I guess they don't have to care, right? Because they have so many people entrapped in their thing. But I did the work, right? So I always say, do the work. I did the work. Calendar's fixed, email's fixed. I've got a couple appointment gaps in my calendar. I think maybe I missed in the translation. Hopefully that's not anything too embarrassing. And we'll move forward. The whole idea is to be productive, create something. And that's what I put in the show note down below if you're looking at the description here, right? I put, hump day happenings, new shirt day, isn't it great to start out with a great memory and some inspiration? But the next thing is create, right? To create. And so today I'm excited. I have a lunch meeting in about an hour with two great ladies from the Chamber of Commerce here in Kansas. And basically, I gave them a whole menu of public talks that I do. And so it's a giant menu. So I was like, well, what vertical do you want me to focus on? And they were like, what do you mean, what vertical? Like, people aren't used to you coming to the table with choices, coming to the table with multiple things. I'm not saying be everything to everybody. It's not what I'm saying at all. Yes, the riches are in the niches. Yes, have your thing that you're an expert in. Yes, yes, yes. But when it comes to speaking, especially in a smaller community, I'm going to have more than one topic to talk about. And so I have, benefits of WordPress for business, why every business needs a learning management system, AI tools for efficiency in working online. I have from chaos to control, right? How process development for a small business, because a lot of small businesses don't have process development. A lot of small businesses unlock the door every day and survive that day, and then do it again the next day, the next day, the next day. And they live on this mantra of, hey, just work harder, work faster, right? Like, if we just work harder and work faster, we're going to make more money. And that's not always true. And so I like to get people into this thought of like, hey, from chaos to control, right? Like right now, you're not operating on processes. Right now, you're operating on instinct, and that's dangerous. Or you're operating on emotion. That's more dangerous. Let's put things to a process. Let's do some analysis. Let's take a look at how you're spending your time. Let's take a look at what's working, what isn't working. Let's take a look at the things that you can delegate. A lot of small businesses, ownership and management accepts all this weight on their shoulders when they could, if staff can do it at 80% of their efficiency, give it to staff. Give it to staff, delegate it, have it done. And that opens you up to focus on the things that matter, like selling for your company. People don't realize how much sales is so important to their business. I fell into this trap with Mañana No Mas myself. When I moved here to Kansas, I didn't want to be too pushy. I didn't want to be the new guy on the block. I didn't want to act like I had all the answers, all those things. It's been a couple of years now. People have gotten to know us over these couple of years. We're involved with Startup Hutch. We're down at Sandhills all the time doing events down there. We run the WordPress meetup in town. So, we tell people how the internet works for free. We're involved with the Hutchinson Chamber of Commerce, as I've already mentioned. And so now it makes sense. Now we can go into sales mode. We have created a sense of domain authority in that space. We have created, an expertise level that people recognize here in town. And so now we're in sales mode. It's been about 6 weeks. We've got 3 clients already. And so we're just going to keep pushing. We're going to try and make this agency kind of like the household name here in our town. Like, hey, you're starting a new business, you probably need a website, talk to Kurt. And we have product that matches their budget. And so product market fit, understanding product market fit, get you going that way. But again, I go back to create something. And so today we're going to create a series of lunch and learns for people in our area. And I'm going to be hosting these lunch and learns with the Chamber of Commerce. And we're just going to create a small series of them. I gave them the menu to choose from. We're going to have lunch today. We're going to have a working meeting to figure out, hey, out of these topics, what are the things that you think would really drive value to the community? And then you obviously know what's going to come on the back end of those lunch and learns. It's going to be a series of sales calls so that we can try and increase the revenue at Mañana No Mas, and that'll be very much be put to a process. I want to talk to you about something else as far as create goes. This is big. I say almost every company needs to have a learning management system, and I believe it. I really believe it. Now, sometimes you can create a course and it doesn't sell at all. That's the part that Sam Cart and those other people don't want to tell you. When you see those ads for Passion.io and Sam Cart and Kajabi and Udemy and School, when you see those ads, they're always saying, oh, make all this money, make all this money. Yeah, you have an idea, boom, you're a millionaire. That is not reality. It's not reality at all. I work in the e-learning industry, and I help people grow from scratch, and it takes work. Right? That's why I have that, hey, do the work, right? Boom, do the work. Do the work. If you do the work and you do the planning and you launch accordingly, you can make a really good penny hosting an online course. But you have to set it up correctly, and you have to go through some pain, to be honest with you. There's some pain along the way. I've experienced this pain myself. So I'm not coming at you like some know-it-all that made some stuff up that doesn't have any fruit to pick from, right? I've got fruit to pick from. And I can give you working examples. I can show you websites that are mine, that I've projects I've made. I have projects that have failed that I still have. And I actually use them as a portfolio piece to show existing clients, hey, this is what I did, and this is why it didn't work. And this is what I did. And it took years, but it did work. And then this is what we can do. And it might get you a quick launch, but you got to make sure that you go deep enough that you can have a sustainable launch. And so it's like super, super important that if you go down this path, you have it. But there's another reason why every business should have a learning management system. And here's where I'm at with this. Remember, I just said put things to a process. If you put things to a process and you create an online lesson for each of those processes, and you put those online lessons into a How Our Business Works course, and you put that course, even if it's in the back end of your website, not something your customers see, but something that's in the back end of your website that only certain users can see. They have to sign in. You have to give them a membership or a user code or something to get into it. Okay. So work with me here. Work with me. I want you to see what's happening. I'm sure you've seen ads on Facebook. If you're in business, you've seen ads on Facebook or LinkedIn about Scribe, right? Like, it takes your standard operating procedures and you just tell it what to do and it makes your standard operating procedure for you. That's okay. That's okay. But what I think works even better is film yourself, whether it's a screen share on a computer or it's you making something in the shop or whatever you do. This is how we do this. This is how we clean the sink. This is how we clean the cutting boards. This is how we clean the knives. This is how we defrost the bread. This is how we bake donuts. This is how. And you make a series of short videos like that. You take those and you put them into a lesson and course format in the back end of your own business website. Then when you hire people and you're onboarding people, you simply say, hey, I hired you for this role, and this role, we cover all of the processes of this role in sections, 1, 2, and 3 of this course. I'm going to assign you this course, and you need to complete those first 3 sections before you come to work on your first day. Boom! Talk about efficiency, right? You can put a quiz in there. You can put a test in there. You can put assignments in there. If you're going to pay people for their training time, great. Let them do it on the clock. Put them in an office, give them a computer, and say, hey, you got to take sections 1, 2, and 3 before I can put you on the floor working with the rest of the staff. You need a base level of knowledge about what we do before I put you interacting with the rest of the staff, right? Now, you might think that sounds crazy. You might go, man, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Think about employee turnover, onboarding, training, and how much it costs you and how much it over leverages other people on staff. For instance, let's say you've got a great girl on staff. She's awesome. She's just a powerhouse. She works like nobody's business. And every time you hire a new hire, you're like, hook up with Stacy and Stacy will show you what to do. So Stacy trains this person. Stacy's not getting paid for training. Stacy's getting tired of training people. She might not say anything to you. She might not complain to your face, but she's getting tired of training people that really kind of suck, don't meet her standards. And her attitude is going down the whole time you're leveraging her for this. Okay. That person lasts for 3 weeks, a month, 6 weeks, and they go, this isn't for me, isn't what I thought it was. And they leave, or they just stop coming to work. You hire somebody else. Hey, Stacy, this is Bob. Can you show Bob what we do around here? Stacy's like, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of training people. I don't get paid to train people. And they slow me down and they make me look stupid in front of the customers. And I'm tired of looking stupid in front of customers. You know what? I think I'm just going to leave. And now you've lost Stacy, who is the best person you ever had, probably ever will have on staff. Now imagine if you had that course in a website that you owned and you said, you're responsible for sections 1, 2, and 3 before I put you on the floor. Now you bring them out and you say, Hey, Stacy, I want to introduce you to Bob. Bob's already done the online training, so he kind of understands what we do here. But if he could just kind of shadow you for the next day or so, that'd be awesome. And now so much of the weight and burden is off of Stacy. She's not responsible for the unwritten process at your building. She's like, there is a process. It is written. It is recorded. It's not my responsibility. This guy's already had his training. He just needs to shadow me for a day or so to get up to speed. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. So when I say, hey, hump day happenings, new shirt day, let's hit it, let's run for it, and let's create something. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting out of the box, putting in the work, and figuring out what's the missing element that could catapult your endeavor, right? If you are a mom and pop shop and you're tired and you need to hire somebody, start thinking about it. Like, what are my processes? How would I warm the bench? How would I bring somebody into this? How would I relay everything I know to somebody else that could run this almost as good as me while I'm not here? Okay. If you are a mid-sized business and you just went through layoffs over the pandemic and you're trying to recover and you're trying to figure this out, you might have some leftover inventory or figuring out how am I going to sell this extra stuff. The demand isn't what it was during the pandemic. We're low on staff. It feels like we're low on staff, but we've been able to keep the office open for the last couple of years. We got sit down, take a deep breath and start writing out some notes and create a plan of action. How am I going to liquidate that extra inventory? How am I going to create some revenue some way, somehow? Even if the margins are down, how am I going to create some revenue? And how am I going to use that revenue to increase staff to lighten the load on myself? I read a book by Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time. Game changer. Absolute game changer. Read the book, Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time, and then start thinking about how can I buy back my time? Let's say you're in a big company. And you're on the opposite side of things. You're having a hard time hiring people. You're having a labor shortage. You're paying people $26 an hour and you can't figure out why no one's taking the job, right? And then you got to start doing some grassroots stuff, man. You got to start going, okay, we're a big company and we act like a big company. And in general, people don't really like big companies anymore. So what can we do, right? Get out of the box, man. Start thinking. Again, take a breath, sit down, start writing some things out. Why have the last 25 employees left your company? Why have the last 15 people you've made offers to turned down the job? If you don't have that information, go get the information. Call people, email them. Hey, this is the CEO at ABC. I know we made you an offer and you turned it down. That's okay. I was just hoping you could give me some insights on how you made your decision. Talk about empowering people. You're going to get some feedback. Take that feedback and start thinking about how can I make some changes here? Is it about the pay? I thought we were paying people good. $26 an hour, $24 an hour, $18 an hour, whatever it is. But think about it and go, why are people not filling the open positions that we make offers to? Why are people leaving our company? Why are we having a labor shortage? And in some cases, why is our supply chain falling behind on demand when we, as a big company, should have had our act together? We should have been ahead of this, right? I've worked for some big companies and I've seen them get behind on inventory. I've seen them go on back order for things like engines, transmissions, starters. I've seen that happen working in the vehicular world, okay? And then as a person working in that organization, you're like, how did we not see this happening? How did we not see that we were going to run short on engines? How did we not see that we were going to run short on starters? How did we not see we weren't going to have master cylinders, right? Like you've got to be ahead of it. But the thing is if you're trying to survive day to day to day to day and deal with putting out fires all the time, then you don't have time to sit down, breathe, get your thoughts together, and strategize. And unfortunately, a lot of businesses, mid-size and bigger size businesses, mid-size to enterprise, right? Mid-size to enterprise. They have roles where people are supposed to be strategizing. They have roles where people are supposed to be doing these things. But because of the trends in employment over the last half a decade, that strategizing isn't happening. It isn't happening. We haven't set people up in an environment that gives them that space to have that happen or to work efficiently. And so things are starting to fall apart, and we're all starting to see it. We're all starting to see it. People are leveraging AI like crazy. I'm an AI fan. I use AI almost every day of my life. I don't use it the way some people think I would. As an online agency, you're assuming I'm coding up websites and doing all kinds of crazy things with AI. I'm not using it for that. I'm using AI to help to do research, to help with a script or a transcript from a video I've made or something like that. Super important to me that we think in terms that make sense to where we're at. Now, a lot of folks are leveraging AI at a rate that far exceeds, in my opinion, what it should be used for. And what we're going to see over the next 3 to 5 years is people that go down a pathway with AI spend a lot of money. I'm talking a lot of money. They're going to go down a certain path with AI. They're going to spend a ton of money. They're not going to see results. And then they're going to turn around with a panic mindset, mind you, with a panic mindset like, oh my God, we've spent our reserves. We're running short on payroll. We need help. And that's when they're going to reach out to experts like me, experts like other people, human beings that have skin in the game, that have done the corporate life, that have done the entrepreneur life, and that can strategize based on processes and staffing, communication, leadership, those kinds of things. AI can tell you about communication and leadership, but it doesn't do a really good job of leading by example. It can't. It's not human. And so I think over the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see people really ramp up their expectations with AI. There are some things happening with AI right now that really freak me out. I'm like, that's really cool. The thing is I wouldn't let it run my business. I wouldn't let it make major decisions for my business. And there's people that are doing that. And so I think we're going to see that happen over the next 2 to 3 years. I think it's going to ramp up a lot, actually. I think people are going to get a lot of false security in it. And then 3 to 5 years from now, and it may be sooner, I've been wrong before with this AI thing. It seems to be happening much more quickly than I've been gearing up for. But I think people in the next 3 to 5 years are going to go, oh my God, like we're going in the wrong direction. We're short on cash. Our inventory's leveraged. We don't have enough financing to do this next big thing, because AI is going to tell them, oh, you're doing great, Bob. You're doing awesome. Bob, you know what you should do? You should double down on this. You should triple down. That's a great idea, Bob. You should do that 4 times over. And Bob is probably going to take its advice. But the problem is, it's not a human being calculating other kinds of risk and the human element involved in business. And so again, 3 to 5 years from now, experts are going to be at a high rate of demand. And I think it's important that you scale yourself now as an individual to be an expert. Why do I say scale yourself as an individual? This is interesting too. Some people might not understand what I'm saying. Scale yourself as an individual, as an expert. Because here's my other thought. Businesses are going to go through and do a little more leaning out. There's going to be more layoffs. When these layoffs happen, these mid-level managers are experts. These experts are going to keep looking for other jobs. You see it now on LinkedIn. They're looking for other jobs. Stop looking for other jobs. Hang a tile, go into business for yourself. You're an expert. You're a consultant. You're an advisor. You're a designer. You're an architect. You're a something, but you're not looking for a job. If you are an employment candidate, you are currently getting screwed over by the entire system. I went through it myself. I applied to 400 jobs, got like 3 interviews, and no offers. I got 1 offer, really bad offer. Like, no, I can't do that. I can't go 10 steps backwards. I can work for myself and do better. So here I am working for myself. And by the way, doing much better. And so I think if you gear yourself up, become an expert, market yourself as an expert, as an individual, even if you're corporately employed, market yourself as an individual. When that hammer falls and you end up unemployed, go right to revenue drive, right to revenue. You might want to find another job. You might not be an entrepreneur at heart. I understand. but go straight to revenue. Look for ways to generate revenue. Advise on something, consult somebody, generate revenue. As long as you have revenue coming in, that's going to free you up a little bit emotionally and mentally to be a better player in the job search. When you're unemployed with no prospects and no revenue, you become desperate. And they smell that desperation. And they ain't hiring desperation. People are looking for confidence, especially if they're looking for people to be in mid-tier positions. They're looking for people with confidence. So either you're going to go 10 steps back and become a worker bee, or you're going to have to become a CEO, CFO, something like that. Or you're going to have to be super confident to qualify for any of these still existing mid-tier jobs. A lot of the mid-tier jobs are just disappearing. So again, strategize, brand yourself as an expert individually. And then when that hammer falls, when you become unemployed, when you become a job seeker, you're going to have the ability to at least go out and generate revenue while you're looking for work. And that gives you a lot of power and confidence to say yes to the yes things and no to the no things. And being able to say no to things is a power that I am absolutely swimming in. I love it. When we lived in California, our economy in California was so negative that I had to say yes to all kinds of jobs that I normally wouldn't have said yes to. I mean, I was doing stuff that was on the surface didn't look horrible, right? But what people didn't realize was I was spending a ton of time to do some things, and I was working for less than $10 an hour in some cases because I needed it. I needed every penny that I could get for revenue for that household living in California. When we moved to Kansas, the pressure was off. And the ability to say no to things that aren't a good fit is an unbelievable freedom. So again, if you can brand yourself as an expert, as an individual, create revenue for yourself, you will gain the ability to be able to say no to things that aren't a perfect fit for you. And that freedom and that lightness in spirit will channel through your whole body, your whole being, through your circles of influence, and you will see growth like you've never seen before. So that's a heck of a message for a hump day happening. I hope that you are having a great day. I hope that things are fantastic. I'm not sure what else I could say now that would make it any better. So I'm going to go ahead and close out. Have yourselves a wonderful week. I'll be busy tomorrow on my lives for WP Tonic and Lifter LMS, but I'll probably see you guys on Friday. See ya. Bye-bye.